What is the demands of a modern day feminist?
I think the sad fact is we all have our own agenda.
Maybe it's lost some of its meaning, but feminism historically has gone through different waves.
Welcome to Bridge the Gap, a show where we aim to build a bridge of understanding between opposing views. Each episode you'll see our participants sit down to discuss some thought-provoking statements. If they disagree with the statement, they'll leave their seat and allow those that agree to explain themselves.
It takes two people to create a child.
Those that disagree then return and express themselves to the rest of the group.
Say the guy is not around when you find out you might be pregnant and he can't really have a say, like he's in another country.
Hopefully building a bridge of understanding. Let's see what happens.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Gender is not completely responsible for the gender pay gap.
It took a while to process that.
Yeah.
I'm still processing.
I had to sit on that for a
I
second.
feel like we're in the right place.
I hope so.
Not to speak for everyone, but I feel.
Because I don't get it.
Well, how do I put it?
Basically
So, like, remember when we were talking about? Okay, let's talk about how much white people earn compared to black people, and you talk about how much male people earn compared to black males, and then females.
No, but then
simply
there's
put
a
gender to blame for gender pay gap, if you agree.
but then
So what?
Move.
So on
Wait,
that,
what?
If you think gender is solely to blame,
Stay
gender
here.
pay gap, to go over there.
So I disagree.
do you think gender plays a role in the gender pay gap?
No.
No.
I feel like race plays
Sorry, say the question one more time.
Then we have to get up.
It's not completely.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not completely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Oh, right, cool.
of course
No,
not.
but then I think. Okay, cool. So but with the statement, what you need to understand about the gender pay gap, and I think this is a misconception, right? A woman, like in this country, a woman and a man doing the same job gets paid the same amount. They're working for the same company. It's illegal not to give a woman the same amount of money or what the work the man's doing.
That ain't true.
No, it is illegal. What tends to happen, what the gender pay gap actually is the average lifetime earnings of a woman compared to a man. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's literally what the gender pay gap means. A lot of people think it means, oh, you're doing the same job, you're both working, I don't know, let's say at McDonald's, and they're paying you 50p less. That's not what it means. It means over your lifetime, what is a man likely to earn versus what is a woman likely to earn. And in this country, just to put it out there, for every pound earned by a man, a woman earns 83p. So that's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, gender pay gap now is like 8.9%, so it's improving, but like 8.9% if you earn £1 million is a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Over your lifespan. If you do the maths, you have to look at it.
No,
like that.
it's still
Relative.
a significant
It's
gap.
crazy.
But then what you have to also understand is because it's a look at their average lifetime earnings, right? You need to take into account the fact that a woman might want to start a family. I'm trying to say 9 times out of 10, what tends to happen is the woman will take a break from her career to look after the kids and then go back into her career. That can significantly impact her wages. And I think the job of government is to make it more convenient for women to stay in their jobs while raising a family.
I agree.
By providing stuff like free childcare. You know what I'm trying to say? Women should be able to keep their jobs while having kids. They shouldn't have to necessarily sacrifice their career because they have kids, and that's the problem.
I was just going to say, on top of that, I think there also needs to be this propelled idea, more so, that there's a male responsibility in terms of looking after the child. I mean, last place I worked at, I think they had like paternity leave for males. I think it was just like a week or two or something like that. But the point is, there's a sense of responsibility in that capacity that, you know, there is maternity leave for a male. You can stay at home for X amount of time and actually look after your children, and at the same time putting less of the burden on the female as if she must assume this role because she birthed this child. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Moving back towards the question, I guess, like, I do think there are other factors that have contributed to the gender pay gap, and I feel like culture's a big one. I think we misappropriate women's ability to do jobs, so therefore they're not paid enough. And for whatever reason, looking at boardrooms, I think it's something ridiculous, like top 50 companies, 7 out of 100 have male CEOs. Like that's crazy. We misappropriate how much ability females have to do a good job in positions of power. I think women are stigmatized as not strategic when it comes to making like board level decisions. I think we deem like women to not be ruthless, and we see being ruthless and cutthroat as a strength in business. And apparently in society, women aren't seen as people that possess that skill set, and therefore the culture shifts that issue as well, I think.
It's facts. I mean, going off the example of the female MPs around the world during this COVID debacle, it was the females that held it down in their country.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to manage their
the
countries.
female leaders, sorry.
Yeah, they were able
PMs,
to manage
PMs,
their countries more effectively, and they were able to reduce the amount of COVID incidences, as opposed to people like Trump, who isn't out in, what is he, 2 million or something like that. But on that other note, I will say that in some capacity, if, let's say, a female gets to a position that she's been dreaming of, it's a dream position, and loads of males are running for it, but they got, kicked off the boat, and she's just grateful to be in that position. Sometimes, I'm not saying I'm speaking for all women, but I've seen the mentalities, they forget to negotiate their salary. Because it's the idea of you're where you are, you should be grateful, you shouldn't ask for more than this. But if it's a male, they'll come into that room, their briefcase, they'll be like, right.
Yeah. No,
How much?
Yeah.
So like, we're saying, okay, we'll pay you 150K. It's like, nah.
Not quite.
Nah, exactly, not quite. How about 200K? You know what I mean? They discussed it, but again, it goes back to Jamal's point about the environment and the culture, and the society that we live in, whereby it's almost, males are praised for having that assertive, confidence, dominating factor. If a female does that, they're either called aggressive, or they're said to be,
she's
outspoken.
divisive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or,
Especially when they're a black woman.
or like, or excuse my French, they call them the BITCH, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they're vilified for taking on male characteristics, which they're not forcing themselves to do, but they're in an environment where they can do that, and they have the confidence to do so.
What I will say is, I don't even think those characteristics are male per se. I'd say they're more masculine.
That's patriarchy on my part.
They're more masculine. I think we've almost defined, your characteristics as a man to be more masculine. And if you're a woman, you have to be more feminine. When we know it's a spectrum and people find themselves all over the place, right? Like some guys are more feminine, and that's okay.
Metrosexuals, people that like to pamper themselves.
Exactly, and that's okay, right? For example, there are a lot of jobs where you can negotiate your salary, and I think the sort of she's a woman, we could probably pay her lower. Does come into it.
Even more so now, especially with COVID and the job competitive market. Like these days, when people are applying for jobs, they give them like a bracket or whatever. They'll say from this much to this much. Back in the day, you used to kind of just get a solid amount and that's it. There's no real questions. Now they're kind of testing you on whether you're brazen enough to ask for more. And it might just be the fact you just need job security right now. Sometimes they play on that. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.